Hey guys, it's Luke, and in today's video I'm going to be sharing 5 of the best and fastest ways to improve in Apex Legends Season 9. Improvement in Apex Legends is not black and white, but the tips and tricks in this video are the best ways to improve that I can find through research and prior knowledge. I'm hoping this video will help everyone regardless of skill level, because no matter how good you are, you can always get better. To start, I should say there are different areas in Apex, and different players need improvements in certain areas. When trying to improve, it is helpful for you to identify what areas you could most work on, such as focusing on aiming or positioning. That is helpful, but if you're not sure or just want to improve on everything, you are in the right place. Before I give the first tip, I also need to say that most of the background gameplay is not mine. I haven't been able to play much recently, so the background gameplay is going to be mostly my brother's, and I might also throw in some other players as well. With that disclaimer out of the way, the very first tip on the list for improving on Apex is to use the firing range. Whenever you get on Apex, the first thing you should do is go straight to the firing range. All pros and good players do this, and for a good reason. If you don't already go into the firing range, or maybe do every once in a while, I would make it a habit. Some people don't like to because it's not very fun, or they just don't know what to practice. Don't worry though, because I got you covered. Start out by picking up 2 weapons that are meta, or 2 weapons that you like to use in-game. Using these kinds of weapons will get you not only warmed up, but also extremely comfortable on those weapons, so you always have a go-to. I usually start with the Wingman and R9 because I enjoy using them, but they are also 2 of the more difficult guns to use. Another thing is to start by using no attachments, not even an optic. This will help you master the base of the gun with no barrel stabilizer to help with recoil, and forces you to get comfortable with iron sights. Practice shooting the dummies for 2 to 3 minutes. Once you are relatively warmed up, then you can move on to the fun part. This is another 2 to 3 minutes, or however long you want to make it, that you can do whatever you want. You should swap out weapons and try different guns or optics you usually wouldn't use. Practice your arc star sticks, practice wall jumps, and play around with zip lines. You can also activate the dummies if you want moving targets or practice strafing. If you don't know how to activate the dummies, it's pretty simple. Make sure your entire inventory is empty, and then head over to the rightmost cave. All you have to do is get on the little metal beam at the top of the cave, crouch, look down, and switch your legend, and the dummies should be activated. The second half of your time in the firing range is the time that you should be practicing just about everything you can think of. Aim, movement, legend abilities, grenades, strafing. Eventually, the small amounts of time you put in each day, all of this will start to happen more easily. I guarantee you'll see your aim improve, you'll be able to hit more wall jumps, and overall, you'll be improving quicker. Going into the firing range every time you jump on Apex is a habit that every player should have. The main reason people don't do it is because they think it's not as fun as going straight into a game. Personally, I don't think that is the case, and for those of you that do, my biggest recommendation is to listen to music. Listening to a few songs during this time makes it way more enjoyable for me, especially because I can't listen to music while I normally play because the audio is so bad. Most people see firing range as a way to warm up, but it is also one of the best ways to improve and get better mechanical skill. So moving on to the next thing to help you improve, and that is playing different game modes. I know it sounds simple, but let me explain. There are 4 different game modes in Apex: firing range, arenas, normal battle royale, and ranked. To clarify, normal battle royale includes duos and trios. At their core, each of the game modes are Apex, and they will improve your game. However, different modes will improve your game in different areas. For example, firing range focuses on movement, aim, and gun control, and arenas focuses on using legend abilities and raw 3v3 fighting. I know a lot of people, me included, like to only play 1 or 2 game modes and never really touch the rest. It's not bad to do this, but if you want to improve faster, you should play all 4. This will balance out your playstyle, so you won't have a big gap in one skill set over the others. I also don't mean you have to play every single game mode every single time you get on Apex. Just try and balance out the time you spend between game modes, and don't only spend time playing one or the other. The last thing I want to mention is that if you know what you want to improve on, you can play the game mode that will let you improve on that skill the fastest. Let's say you wanted to learn a new legend. The best way to do that would be playing arenas, because you get into a lot of fights where your legend abilities are vital in winning, and you get a lot of practice using them. If you just want to get into a lot of gunfights, I would play pubs. And if you want practice playing smartly, rotating, and communicating, play ranked. I will be going over how to identify what part of your gameplay you most need to improve later in the video. But in general, maybe the easiest thing you can do to get better at Apex is simply playing different game modes. Before I move on to the next tip, I would really appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribed. It takes a lot of work to make these videos, and if you noticed, you didn't get an ad for watching it. So to help me out, please do like and subscribe. Tip number 3 is to do 1v1s. 1v1ing is not commonly done in Apex, except by pros and streamers, which is unfortunate because it is one of the best ways to improve. The hardest part about doing a 1v1 is finding someone to play with. Try to get someone who is around your skill level, or preferably just a little slightly better. Remember, the goal of this is not to win, it's to improve. If you don't have anyone to play with, then go to the official Apex University or official Apex Legends Discord and ask to 1v1 in the LFG channel. It's usually pretty easy to find someone willing to 1v1. Once you've found someone, load up firing range and get your loadouts. You can start out with guns you are both comfortable with, but after a little while I highly recommend you both switch to weapons you wouldn't always pick up in a normal game. Like switching game modes, it's not good to just run the same weapons. It helps improve your gun skill and aim by using different ones. Doing 1v1s like this are beneficial to you in several different ways. For one, you get into a lot of 1v1s when playing the game normally, and it's good practice for winning those fights. Team fights also often break down into 3 separate 1v1s, and if you want to win 1v2s or 1v3s, you're going to need to master 1v1s. But you also get practice aiming and strafing. If you would like to improve your tracking, then definitely the best way to do that is by 1v1ing. So I highly recommend getting a friend or someone off Discord and jumping into the firing range. The 4th tip on the list is to watch other people play Apex. I know you've probably heard other YouTubers say this, but I'm going to break it down for you. Having good game sense is perhaps the only thing that is better than having good mechanics. Game sense ranges from map knowledge, to rotation, to looting, to the small decisions you make in fights. The thing about game sense is it's hard to get. You can pick up game sense from spending hours grinding on Apex, but judging from the fact that you clicked on this video, you don't want to wait that long. The only 2 ways to gain game sense are playing yourself or watching someone else play. What I recommend you do is go on Twitch or YouTube and just watch raw Apex gameplay. Some players I watch are Jen Burton, Fade, Raz, and TSM Reps. When you watch a gameplay like this, you should not just be watching. You should be thinking about every decision that the player you're watching is making. Why did they swap shields there? Why did they take this angle? Why did they choose to rotate this way? This kind of thinking will help you get a sense of how you should be making decisions that you can apply to your own game. I know it can be hard at first to watch a gameplay and see why the players are doing what they are doing. And if you're struggling, look up Apex Legends VOD review or Apex Legends gameplay review. These kinds of videos are pretty much what I'm talking about and will break down a player's gameplay so you can get a sense of how to do it. Not only that, but watching players that know the game and have been playing for such a long time is also the best way to learn the meta. They know all the best weapons, legends, and strategies at that time, so by watching them, you will also know. Overall, watching other people play Apex is one of the best ways to improve yourself. Now it's time for the last tip on the list, and it's something I've mentioned earlier in this video already. Knowing more specifically what areas of your gameplay you need to work on can help you improve. Some people already know what they need to get better in, and I want you to think right now about what you could improve on. If you're not sure, that's okay. I'm going to help you figure out how to identify that area or skill, and then how to progress in it. Finding the weakness in your game can be anything, not just aim, positioning, or teamwork. It can be things like you hip fire too often, or always push in ahead of your team. So keep that in mind for this section of the video. The first is to identify what area you can most improve on. The first way to identify what area you can most improve on is by watching yourself play. By recording your own gameplay and watching it back, you might be very surprised at what you see. For example, the last time I watched myself play, I immediately realized my aim was a little jerky, and my crosshair moved too fast. To fix this, I turned down my aim down sight sensitivity, and as a result, my aim is way better. Just by watching 5 to 10 minutes of your own gameplay, you might find the thing that you need to work on to become a better player. The other thing, which is something I do all the time, is to keep track of your deaths. I don't mean actually telling how many times you die, but every time you do die, think to yourself why you did. Was it because of your positioning? Was it because you got third-partied? Or maybe you just missed some shots? Whatever it is, identify it. You can even write it down if you want to. Over time, you'll start to realize 1 or 2 things that are leading to a lot of your deaths. And I know there's often not just one reason you died, but try to identify the main reason for you dying. Once you know what you need to fix, you can go into games just focusing on that one thing. Like if you were dying a lot due to your aim, you should go into a game and still play normally, but when it comes time to aim at someone, really focus on hitting those shots. Over time of you doing that, it will come naturally to you and your aim will improve and get better. I might elaborate on this topic more in a future video because it's pretty important, and I know for a fact that most pro players do this. But for now, try and identify why you are dying or what you need to work on, and then purely focus on that one aspect of the game, and I guarantee you'll see improvement. That was the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching all of it. Just to recap, the 5 methods for improvement in this video are using the firing range, playing different game modes, doing 1v1s, watching better players, and identifying and focusing on one thing. Please like, subscribe, and comment down below any other video topics you would like me to cover. Also consider visiting my channel. I have a bunch of content from settings, to movement, to ranking up that I know will be useful. Thank you for watching.